I find that when I run my games, each person having personal goals for their characters and a personal alignment for their characters sounds great, but it never works. At least, it's never useful. Welcome back everybody, this is GDS. I want to make this quick video about alignment because there are many videos about alignment explaining what is evil, good, chaotic, whatever. I don't care that much about that. What I care about is how do I actually make alignment useful? There are so many people online who will tell you how useful alignment is and how you should use it in your game, but I found that the way it's commonly used is not actually good. The reason for that, and I'm just going to read off my notes for a second here, players are expected to run characters that work with one another to accomplish a shared goal. That goal can be more important to one character or another, but they still operate as a unit and make decisions together. So with very few exceptions, I found that this means that characters with selfish motivations never bring up their goals or accomplish them with a party, by virtue of those motivations being only about themselves. And characters with different alignments from the rest of the party rarely express and almost never act on that alignment. Instead, they find some in-game reason for why their character disagrees with the party but still works with them. Unless they are Wangrod. Notice that I didn't talk about good versus bad alignments, only about a discordance between the goals and alignments of people in the party. Because I think that running a game with murder hobos is just as possible as running a game with benevolent heroes. And it might actually be more popular. But that is besides the point, and of course everything I'm saying has exceptions. I'm mainly talking about my experience. I found that the best way to make alignment actually useful and resolve the problem where we choose alignment but it never comes into play or only comes into play superficially is to get rid of personal alignment and goals, and replace them with party alignments and goals. So in our games we'll say that everybody is part of the same party, say an adventuring guild or an investigation company, whatever works for your game. And everyone in the party behaves according to the company alignment and goals. Notice that this both establishes an out-of-game social contract and an in-game description of the characters and how they behave. In other words, our party alignment and goals are prescriptive, so they tell players how they should run their characters. And they are also descriptive. They show players that this is how their characters already behave in the world. Notice also that I said behave. Characters can have whatever opinions and personal goals they want, but they will never be relevant to the party. Unless they make them relevant to the party by raising them to everyone and agreeing on them collectively. At that point, their opinions and goals become the party opinions and goals, because everyone agrees on it. This also means that over time, the company alignment and goals can change, as long as we make sure everyone agrees on it outside of the game. So to summarize very quickly what I just said, I don't think that personal alignment and goals work because players play in parties. It would work great if, say, D&D or Pathfinder were solo games, but they're not. So we find that as a matter of fact, as a party, we need to agree on a way that it's okay to behave for all the players to be happy playing this game. And that's where I think alignment comes in, and let me tell you the way I implement it in my games. So the way I implement this idea of the party alignment is by using two axes. The first axis regards the central tension in my campaign and determines what the party thinks about that central tension. The second axis is about good versus evil. Let me explain. The best way to explain axis 1 might be with an example. I'm running an adventuring campaign where players go out there, acquire artifacts, go into dungeons, etc. The central tension in this campaign is between wilderness, which has unchecked overgrowth, monsters, magic, it's dangerous, and civilization, which is trying to go out there, establish settlements, and tame the wilderness. So I asked the players in my party, when we are making our characters, to all collectively choose what their opinion is on this conflict. And this is exactly what I tell them. Wild companies believe in only following the rule of law, as much as it makes sense in the context of any given situation. Some wild companies relish in the world's organic growth and wild magic. They reject reliance on strict organization, and think that having a good measure of flexibility and disorder is the natural and virtuous state of the world. On the other hand, the party can say that they align themselves with the law. So lawful companies are the opposite. They see their purpose as taming the wilderness and understanding its magic. They believe that progress can only be made if order is preserved and civilization abides by explicit laws. So that's the first axis of our company alignment. What does this company that the players are playing in think about the central tension in this conflict? The second axis, as I said, is between good and evil. But the problem with the good and evil is that those terms are ambiguous. They've meant different things throughout history, and they mean different things now. So what I like to do, because I just want to make alignment useful, not to define whatever evil is or whatever good is instead of using good and evil, I use benevolent and cutthroat. Let me read off my notes here again. This is exactly what I tell my players. Cutthroat companies can only be trusted to be motivated by self-interest. While some are bound by a moral code, that code ultimately does not prohibit them from harming innocent people to impose their will or make a profit. On the other hand, the conduct of benevolent companies ranges from neutral to altruistic. Though they still pursue their self-interest, they ultimately act to limit suffering and ensure the well-being of others. I'll say this again, just to make the point clear. The reason I use these two axes, the central tension axis and the good versus bad axis, is because it's useful for determining what kind of campaign are we playing. Are we playing a murder hobo campaign? Are we playing a heroic campaign? And what does the party think about the conflict? How should I design my sessions? Should I expect that you're going to try to overthrow civilization? Should I expect that you're going to try to conquer wilderness? Maybe you're somewhere in between. Either way, the guides of the axes are useful for me as a DM, but they're also useful for the players. Having those two things at the top of your character sheet, one, your opinion on the most important conflict in the world of your DM, and two, are you a murder hobo or a hero, helps guide your interactions in the world of the DM. And it helps to make sure that you never do something that makes another player upset because it's against what everybody agrees this campaign is about. One final thing I like to do is I like to reward players with XP for following alignment. As I like to say in my videos, the best way to make players do something you want them to do is to reward them for it, and that's exactly what I'm doing. The way you implement this specifically depends on how XP works in your game, but however it works, make sure that at the end of the session, if players follow the alignment, reward them for it. That's all I've got about alignment. I don't think it's very useful as an individual thing, but I think it is useful as a collective thing to help guide both the GM and the players. If you like the video, make sure to hit the like button, hit it an odd number of times as always. Same for subscribe button, unless you're already subscribed. In that case, hit it an even number of times or just leave it alone. Make sure to comment down below. I will read your comments and like them and respond to them because I care about what you say. That's the reason I make these videos, and not that many people comment on my videos, so I'll definitely see that. We have a Discord, and the link is going to be in the nonsense below. If you like anything we talked about here, world building, alignment, fantasy, anything related, come down to the Discord, say hi. That's everything I've got for today. Take a deep breath. I'll see you later.